Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Hey guys, what is up? What's going on? It's your girl Ashley and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, what I'm going to be doing is showing you guys how to get this look. And in this video, I'm actually trying a bunch of new affordable products, which I'm pretty excited about. I went to Ulta again, like, don't tell anyone, but let me just say my total was like $22 because I had a 20% off coupon and I also had like 700 points built up. So, hey. It's like I didn't even really go to Ulta, but hopefully you guys enjoy this video. I use a bunch of new products, and for the products that I didn't have new products of, I just use like my personal fave. So hopefully you guys don't mind, but subscribe if you guys haven't already by pressing the subscribe button. Also, click the bell so that way you guys are notified anytime I upload a new video, which is 3 times a week, every single week. I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And y'all don't want to miss out on that. So with that, we have a lot of things to cover in today's video, so let's do this. So the first thing I'm going to start off with, you guys, is the eyes. Clearly my brows are done, my lids are primed. I do want to use this collaboration palette that Soph created in collaboration with Makeup Revolution. This is called the Extra Spice palette. I went into my Ulta in stores and I saw that they had it and I was like, oh my god, like I need it. Does this palette not scream fall to you? Like, this is such a beautiful color palette and I really wanted to play around with it and test it out. It does have a full-size mirror, which I like, and it does feel like a really good quality palette. The only thing I will say is like the mirror is kind of like popping out, so that's like a little wonky, like a little skirt, but it's okay, we can make it work. The first shade I'm gonna pick up in the palette is that yellow. That yellow is literally screaming my name. It's called Vitamin C, and I'm going to take a little bit of that shadow on an M441, and I'm just gonna go ahead and pop it into the socket of my eyeball. Now, one thing I will say about Makeup Revolution shadows is that you're not going to get like ABH quality. And I know I compare everything to ABH quality, but that's because it's like one of my favorite prestige eyeshadow brands on the market, and their shadows are really, really good quality. So anytime I'm talking about a product, I usually compare it to that eyeshadow because we all know it to be a really, really good eyeshadow formula. So I want you guys to just keep in mind that you are not going to get high-end quality for drugstore price point, because anytime I film videos and I'm talking about palettes, I get comments from you guys saying that palette sucked, it was like a palette I could find at Ross, or something very, very vulgar. And I never want you guys to feel like just because I say, hey, this drugstore palette is really, really good, that I mean that it's as good as prestige products, because most of the time I'm saying a drugstore palette is good considering its price point. So keep that in mind. As you can see, I did build this yellow shade up nicely onto my lid and into the crease. I really want this shade to just be nice and diffuse, so just going in big circular motions to really buff and blend that out. But for the most part, I really do like that color. So the next shade I'm going to take in the palette is called Running Late, and I'm going to take that on an M514, which is a little bit more of like a smaller blending brush. In this shade leans a little bit more orange, and one of the main reasons I'm going in with this shade is because I want to warm up the crease a little bit before I go in with a really, really deep color. I also want to note that these shadows have pickup in the pan, like a little bit of kickback. Nothing I'm too concerned about, but I know a lot of people do like to know whether or not they're a little bit powdery. So they do seem just a tad bit powdery in the pan, but honestly, I do not mind as long as it has really, really good pigment. And so far I'm able to build this up very, very nicely. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and lift up my eyebrow right here, just so that way I can get that shadow right there in the socket. And I'm just gonna take it from inner to outer corner. And I'm not taking this above the transitional shade, which is that yellow we applied right before this. Low key, I wanna create a very bright eye look, but realistically speaking, I also wanna create a very like fall-esque look. So I'm like kind of torn a little bit. Honestly, do you see how beautiful this shadow is blending out on the lid? Like, whew, if I was to ever come out with my own palette, just know that it would be affordably priced and the pigment would be out of this world. Which reminds me, what do you guys look for in an eyeshadow palette? Like, what color story do you guys look for? Do you like neutrals? Do you like a mixture between neutrals and pops of colors? Let me know down below in the comments, because I'm definitely interested in your feedback. Okay, so now that I have that orange in the crease, tings are looking good. Tings are looking great. I'm now gonna go in with the shade called Chocolate Orange on that same M514, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna go ahead and rock this in the crease. And the reason I went in with that bright orange first is because I really just wanted to create more of a guide for where I wanted to place this chocolate brown shade. And this is gonna be the start of me really deepening up this look and transforming it into more of a very fall appropriate look, because I think this palette can go either way. I feel like you can do a very dark dramatic look, or I think you can do a really fun and poppy look, which is something I like. So this look is definitely going in the right direction. I'm gonna pick up the shade called Cheesecake, which is a little bit deeper than that of Chocolate Orange, and I'm gonna focus this shade right here on the very outer corner. Again, I am still using the same exact brush I used for like the past 2-3 colors. It's not necessary for me to switch brushes, because each time I'm going in with a darker shade that's relatively close to the tones that I previously used. So I'm just gonna take that shade called Cheesecake and really buff it right here on the very outer edge. I'm gonna switch over to using an M433, and I'm gonna pick the shade called Mulled Wine, which is a berry tone. Like I said, I do want more of like a berry look, so I'm just gonna kind of buff this right here over the very outer edge of the eye, like so. Probably just gonna take this all over the lid, let's be honest. I'm also gonna rock it in the socket, but I'm not going to take it above the warm tone browns and the yellow we applied earlier. I'm gonna kind of rub it all over the lid like this, creating more of a very deep berry eye look. So after looking at the look as a whole, I can't even really express how much I love this look. I love how all the colors just kind of melt together and they kind of gradate upwards into this really beautiful yellow, but that's besides the point. Anyways, I'm gonna take an M433, and what I'm gonna do with this brush is I'm just gonna lightly run it where that really pretty wine shade or red shade or burgundy shade, whatever you wanna call it, meets the orange and the yellow, just so that way everything it just has a nice soft edge, because that's just what's gonna make it look the best. I will say it's really, really hard to formulate matte eyeshadows without them getting patchy or anything like that. So I do think Makeup Revolution did an amazing job with the formula of these matte eyeshadows. Like, really, really good job. So I think I'm gonna stop there for the eyes, just because I don't want to overdo it right now. So far, I've only used a total of 4 eye brushes. As you can see, I have them all right here. I used an M441, 2 M433s, and an M514. I'm now gonna move on to my skin. I have 2 primers by e.l.f. I have the e.l.f. Prep and Blur Stick, and then I also have the e.l.f. Prep and Hydrate Balm. Now, I wanna hydrate the skin, but I also want more of like a blurring effect. So the first one I'm gonna go in with is this hydrating balm, which I have never used. I've actually heard really great things about this. Ooh, it actually feels really, really nice on the skin. Some people say it's comparable to the Milk cooling stick that they have like this. It's like this blue color. I cannot speak on that because I do not own any Milk makeup products, but I really want to try some out because I've heard nothing but amazing things about the brand. This actually feels a little greasy on the skin. I'm not even gonna fake the funk. It's very, very interesting. I will say that my skin does look very glowy and luminous, which is good. I always like a luminous finish. Y'all know me. All right, it's also getting a little bit tacky to touch, which I like. I'm also gonna apply a little bit of the Prep and Blur Stick right here to the center of my face to kind of blur a little bit. I do like to apply more of a blurring primer to these areas, especially like around my nose and stuff like that, just because that is where I have pores and a little bit more of like uneven skin texture. So I do really like to go in with a blurring primer in those areas, and then I'll just kind of like pat it or rub it into the skin. I'm honestly not entirely sure if you're supposed to like rub it or just like leave it, but based on what I know from other blurring sticks, I do just like to, you know, make sure it's nice and even with my fingers before I go in with foundation. But it's feeling really, really nice, and I do feel like my T-zone has been smoothed out, which is great. The foundation I will be using today is probably a foundation that's like a million shades too dark for me, but hopefully I can make it work. I do have the brand new Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. Now, it took me a minute to pick this up because Makeup Revolution did reach out to me over on Instagram, and they said that they wanted to send me the full range of these, so I was gonna do like a full review, but I haven't gotten the foundations yet. So I went into my Ulta and I saw that they had this. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna pick it up. But the only shade that was relatively close to me was F8. Like all of the other shades were out of stock. So your girl reached for F8. Let's hope it works. I actually think this is gonna be too dark. Oh, okay, it's not too shabby. So I do want to say that this wand picks up quite a bit of product, so be careful because I almost like dropped foundation all over my sweater. I am gonna take my Sonia Kashuk sponge and I'm just gonna kind of buff and blend out this foundation. So far, I will say the coverage is really, really nice on the foundation. Like, look how beautiful my complexion looks. It is just a little too dark for me. I'm not even going to fake it like this was even my shade, but I'm gonna make it work for the sake of this video. And hopefully next time I go into Ulta, I can find my correct shade. So right now, this is what one layer of that foundation looks like on my skin. I'm going to apply another layer of foundation on this side just so that way we can compare what my left side versus my right side looks like, just because I'm curious. I'm curious to see how this builds up on the skin. I can't even really describe the formula. It's definitely not like thick. It doesn't feel like a mask. It still gives me like amazing coverage. Like, look how beautiful that looks. Like, wow, that built up really, really nice on the skin. So this is what 2 layers of that foundation looks like. You can't even see my sunspots peeking through, which is really, really big. I feel like anytime I go in with foundation, you can always see like these little sunspots and stuff peeking through. So this is just one layer of the foundation. You can definitely see some of my imperfections peeking through. On this side, 2 layers, and it's full on coverage. For concealer, I am going to use this by IT Cosmetics. This is a brand new Bye Bye Under Eye Full Coverage Anti-Aging Waterproof Concealer. Now, I know this isn't an affordable product, but I did not have an affordable concealer to test out in this video, and I didn't want like me testing out new products to go to waste and use like a concealer that I already own. So I just popped this in here, but for the most part, everything else is very much affordable. So this is in the shade Light Honey Warm 13.5, and I'm going to take a little bit of this concealer on the back of my hand, and I'm actually going to apply this with my finger because it is more of a thicker consistency concealer. I don't know if they just repackaged this concealer or what, because it feels very, very similar to another concealer they already have in their line. So I'm actually going to use a sponge just because I recently got almond nails on today at my nail salon, and I just can't get underneath my eyes. This is a really thick concealer, but it's not too bad underneath the eyes. It definitely gives off more of a radiant, luminous finish, which I'm not even mad at. Like, it looks pretty. So this eye compared to this eye, I definitely feel like it covered up a little bit of my darkness that kind of peaks right in this area, and it brightened just a little bit. Now, I didn't use a concealer that was extremely light just because I'm kind of over like the super bright under eye concealer, and that's just me. Honestly, I feel like if you like it, you like it, and if you don't, you don't. It's not to say like I hate it and I'll never do it again, but I'm just trying to get more of like a natural under eye instead of a really, really bright, stark under eye. So I'm trying not to use as bright of a concealer, but this is definitely full on coverage, and it's really, really thick, so keep that in mind. So before I go in and I completely set down the concealer, I'm gonna go in with the shade called 21 from the palette, which is that really beautiful vibrant pink shade, and I'm just gonna press it right alongside my lower lash line. I feel like this is gonna give the look a really nice pop. And I'm also doing this right before I set down that concealer because the concealer is going to act as a really nice sticky base for the shadow to stick to. And it's also going to make the eyeshadow pop. To really smoke out this lash line, I'm going to take a pencil brush, picking up a little bit of the shade 21, and I'm just going to gently smoke this out. Now, I do want the shadow to be extremely smoky and blown out on my lower lash line, so don't be afraid to really just get in there and blow this color all the way out. I'm also going to connect it with the shadow on my upper lash line as well, just so that way everything comes together. So now that I have that pink shade buffed and blended out all on my lower lash line, I'm just going to kind of pat the concealer just to ensure that it's not creasing or anything like that. And I'm going to go in with a nude translucent powder. This is by the brand number 7. This is the Perfect Light Loose Powder. It says this is a light diffusing powder that blends evenly on to the skin, reflecting light to smooth and disguises flaws. Now, I want to say this retail for like $12.99. I did get it at Walgreens, so it is in fact affordable, and I did get it buy one get one half off. I am just going to use my sponge. I'm going to dip it into that powder, and I'm just going to pat to really set that concealer down in place. I'm not entirely sure if this has any flashback to it. Let's hope it doesn't, because if it does, we're all screwed. But it is very, very fine. It doesn't feel heavy underneath the eyes, which is great. I feel like that's one of the biggest things with translucent powders, is that sometimes they can be very, very heavy underneath the eyes and also flashback. But we're gonna test that right now. Okay, let me get the flash on my camera to see what we're working with. Okay, so based on the picture, I don't see any flashback at all. Do y'all see that eyeshadow? That eyeshadow, it's popping. Like, now that the under eyes are set, I'm gonna go and set the rest of my face with the Conceal and Perfect Shine Proof Powder by Milani. I do wear the shade 04 Natural. I'm just gonna press this into my skin using my Koki 618 powder brush, because it's bomb. It is bae all day. And I'm really just gonna set down this foundation, and I'm also gonna take that powder directly over my cheekbone, which is where that translucent powder and the pressed powder are gonna meet, really blurring out that line, so that way it just looks nice and diffused. So I'm gonna bronze the skin with another number 7 product. This is the number 7 bronzer in the shade Caramel. I'm really excited for this bronzer because you guys know I've been stuck on my collab one for so long, but since it's being discontinued from Sally Beauty Stores, I don't really want to continue using it on my channel, because I don't want you guys to feel like I'm using a product that you can't get anymore, even though if you go into Sally's, they may still have it on clearance for like $7.50. I just kind of want to find a new drugstore favorite, if you guys get me. So I will be taking a brush like this with a little bit of that powder and just dusting it alongside the perimeter of my face. Now, I will say, when I saw this in Walgreens and I took my finger across the tester, I was blown away, because while this isn't a super cool tone bronzer, it's also not too warm either. It has like a hint of orange to it without making it look like overly orange, if that makes any sense. Like, it's gonna warm up the skin in the prettiest way possible. And when I swatched it in store, I was like, could this be my new favorite bronzer? Like, I was legit freaking out. Ooh, and it's going on like butter. I'm also gonna add just a little bit of bronzer to the sides of my nose to warm it up a little bit. Do y'all see me though? Do y'all see how beautiful this bronzer looks on the skin? I'm gonna take a really big fluffy brush and just kind of really buff out the edges, because, ooh, she was looking a little harsh there. What I love about the bronzer so far is that it's extremely fine. Like, when you touch it, it's very soft to touch, very silky, and when it goes onto the skin, it blends so nicely. Like, do you guys see how sun-kissed my skin looks like right now? That bronzer though, $12.99. I got it at Walgreens, and I also know you can find number 7 at Target as well, but I can't guarantee they'll be like buy one get one half off, because I've never seen that at Target ever. I do have some new highlighter drops to test out in today's video. These are by Ardell. These are called the Attitude Adjuster Shade Effects Drops. Now, you can mix this in with your favorite foundation, your favorite base. You could apply it over makeup, or you could wear it alone on bare skin. Today, I'm just gonna pop this directly over top of my foundation to act as a highlighter. The shade I'm using is called Lounging Looks, FYI, and it does have like a little dropper. You know what these remind me of? They definitely remind me of like the iconic London, really like foiled highlighters, like just on the skin like that, like, whoa. Honey. I actually think I might get more of a golden shade for this look. Yeah, I definitely want more of like a golden highlight. Based on the way that swatched on my skin alone, I decided to switch to a different color. This one is in the shade Glow Me. I think that this is gonna match me a lot better. It does lean a little bit more champagne, whereas the other one was just a little bit too stark and too white for my liking. So yeah, as you can see, this looks a lot better on my skin tone personally. So I'm gonna actually pop this onto the highest points of my cheekbones with my sponge right here by Sonia Kashuk. So you guys, this is what that highlighter looks like. I think it is really, really pretty. I feel like one of the main issues that I have with it is that I did put it over top of my powder, so it doesn't look as blinding as I think it would have if I just applied it directly over top of the foundation before I set it down with powder. So I am going to go in with more of a powder highlight directly over top. I'm going to use this one by Pixi, which you guys know I love. This is one of their glowy gossamer duos in the shade Subtle Sunrise, and I am going to take that really pretty pale gold on an ABH A23 brush, and I'm just gonna glide this over top to give me more of a skin-like glow. Do you guys see the difference that makes? Like, granted, I look like a disco ball now because like I have hella highlight on, but you guys get my drift. Honestly, everything isn't gonna work that I test out, and you guys get to see the real raw deal. Beautiful. Like, can I get a redo? So now that I've fixed my highlight situation, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of my Milani Baked Blush in the shade Luminoso. This is an oldie but a goodie. I feel like this is really going to complement the look well. It's just gonna add a light peachy tone to the cheeks. And I am using the blush brush by Smashbox in case any of you guys were curious. And I like this brush because it really just applies a nice diffuse flush of color to the cheeks. So I really don't think you guys understand how much I want to use a shade called Infinity, which is that silver shade. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop it in the very inner corner because why not? Like, I feel like this look is already so unique on its own that adding like that unexpected pop of silver in the inner corner is really going to set it off. Bitch. Can we just talk about how that inner corner is popping? Like, I'm going to take the Rimmel Exaggerate waterproof eyeliner and I'm going to use this to tightline, and this really just creates the illusion of thicker, fuller lashes. I don't think I'm going to go in with liner just because I'm kind of feeling the vibe without it. Following that, I'm going to apply this yellow liner to my waterline because why not? Like, this look is already fun enough. I really just want to add another pop, unexpected pop that is, to the waterline. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do my mascara, pop on some falsies, and we'll be back to finish off the look with the lips. So the last and final thing I want to do is go in with a lip color. I did get this at Ulta. This is one of the Morphe lipsticks. I got mine in the shade Forever. Hopefully this looks good. Clearly it's a nude because you guys just know how I feel about nudes. Ooh, the packaging is really, really cute, and it has the M stamped at the top. That's cute. So I will definitely say that this is a really beautiful, cool tone nude. It definitely is more of a cream lipstick, which is why it's not completely matte. But honestly, I really like that because you guys know I'm into more of like a glossy lip, but this isn't like too glossy, but it has a nice sheen to it. I'm not entirely sure if it goes with the eyes though. Like, I mean, it's okay. I guess I would have wanted something a little bit more warm. I do also have this lip topper right here by Makeup Revolution. This one is in the shade Exquisite, and I'm gonna go ahead and take this directly over top. I am literally obsessed with the way that this lip topper and lipstick look together. Like, I really, really like it. I do kind of feel like it's a little cool tone, but honestly, I could work with it. Like, I think this is a really beautiful look. The last and final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spray my face down with some setting spray. I'm going to use the COL-LAB Grand Finale 3-in-1 Hydrating Makeup Setting Mist. This has literally become one of my faves. Well, actually, it's been a fave, but I couldn't use it until now, and I'm so glad I can finally use it. And just like that, you guys, this is the final and completed look. What did you guys think of it? Let me know down below in the comments. I will definitely say I am high-key obsessed with the way that this look turned out. It's like business on the top, party on the bottom. Like, from afar, it kind of looks like just a warm, blown out smoky eye, but when you get up close and personal, you can definitely tell that the lower lash line is a hot pink shade. I also love the subtle pops of yellow on the lid, and also in the waterline, I love the pop of silver. It's completely different than looks that I do on my channel, I know, but I really just wanted to step out of my comfort zone. The palette was speaking to me. Speaking of the palette, I really did love it. I enjoyed it. I loved all of the subtle pops that she incorporated within the palette. I did feel like the shadows because you kind of had to build them up. They weren't pigmented upon one swipe, but honestly that doesn't even really matter to me as long as I could work with the shadows, as long as I could build them up. It is drugstore price point, so of course you're not going to get a high-end palette for an affordable price. It's just not realistic. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I will continue to use the products and let you guys know how I feel about them. I will actually update the description with how I feel about these products because I will be wearing them in the days to come. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like these videos, you guys want to see more affordable videos, don't forget to subscribe. I mean, by now you should probably be subscribed to my channel. So press the subscribe button and also don't forget to click the bell so that you guys are notified anytime I upload a new video, which is 3 times a week, every single week. I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and y'all don't want to miss out on that because we have a pretty awesome time here. My comment section is lit. We spread so much positivity, so if you want to feel good, you want to look good, honey, this is the channel for you. So I'm not going to say anymore. I'm not going to ramble on. I love you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'll be sure to catch you guys all on the next one. Deuces. Please don't send me to counseling. Please don't send me to counseling. I'll get better. I will stop shopping. I will. I'm gonna stop spending money on makeup. Take it all. Take my makeup. Take my brushes. No, don't take my brushes. I need my brushes. They're my friends. This is Tanya. This is Crystal. This is Cheyenne. This is Brenda. You made it to the outro of the outro. The outro of the outro. All right, I'm never gonna be like a singer ever. Like, as much as like, you know, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna convince you guys to subscribe. So, hi, subscribe right up here. And also check out this video and this video right here because I'm pretty cool. I know you guys think I'm cool. Let's be real. I'm not cool, but I would love it if we grew this family to 600,000 subscribers, and we are almost there. So press that like button and subscribe.